I'm doing very well. Well, Fifi, welcome to Ghana again.
Thank you.
What brought you back? You were just here not too long ago.
I know. I left just under 2 months, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes. Under 2 months.
6 weeks ago. Yeah, and I think from here, I told you I'm going to fly to one of our neighboring countries, do a bit of feasibility there. And terribly, I had a short accident there, so I had to fly back to UK.
Okay.
So when the team was coming, I should have been part of them.
Okay.
Because they came with a comms team member.
Okay.
But because I had surgery and I had to go through a bit of healing process,
okay.
They took 2 weeks. I mean, they came 2 weeks before me.
Okay.
And I'm here to join the team. And also, it's the biggest election of this country. We've never seen anything like it. You can see the number of diasporans coming down. So we're here to energize the grassroots, be part of this history making, and also we all have votes, so we're here to vote as well. And at the same time, most important, yes, we do. Majority of us. The most important thing is also to let the Ghanaians living in Ghana know that if you're here, don't sit in your comfort of your home. Go out there and make a choice, because if some of us are paying a whole flight fares to get here just to come and vote, it tells you how important this election is.
It's quite interesting, because I have arrived at the conclusion that people are suffering from what is said in a Janishu Aubeba, that there's pressure from home on most of you abroad. And you've realized that if you do not say anything about these elections and it doesn't go well, you are in more trouble, because everybody goes back to you when they are struggling in Ghana. They need more of your pounds. They'll take more, because when there's a problem with the niece, they'll call you. The nephew, they'll call you. Cousin has a problem, they'll call you. Everybody will call you because they are all struggling to make ends meet. Is that part of the problem?
There's an element of truth in that. You will have a lot of SOS calls, no question about that. But to me, it's not the ultimate.
Okay.
Why? Because, yes, the calls will come, but it's always good to be part of what is happening here. There's no place like home. And I always say that we are Ghanaians, we need to ensure that we select or elect a government that can set an enabling environment for the ordinary Ghanaian. Look, as I said to you, I was in our neighboring country, Senegal, and they are way ahead of us. I was shocked. Way ahead. Their system, the transport system is like Europe. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And Ghana, I said to myself, what is wrong with us? It took the Chinese diasporans to go back to China, to change China to the China that we see today. We shouldn't sit there because we're comfortable, because we've got jobs, because we earn money. We should come back and affect change, and that is why we're here. I believe some of us, it will take us to change Ghana. And we're here with what we've gone and studied, with what we do in terms of profession. And we're here to ensure that we elect a good government that can give us the opportunity to exhibit that skill set. And that, to me, that is the most important thing. More than the Ejanishewa or
That's quite interesting. Well, what do you think will be the biggest challenge with this election? Because in 2020, one of the biggest issues was security. Because all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, you see guns moving, people being declared. Your party moved from saying that they win, they have a majority in parliament, to then all of a sudden the numbers started declining. From 145, you are moving to 140. To before you know, you were doing 137. So the biggest issue at the time, from Ayawaso West were gone, obviously, was security, and continue to be security, and how they were used to affect the polls. For you, is that still a problem, or you see something else going into the elections?
I think it's still a problem, because the incumbent government, they have all the security councils under them, and sometimes we've seen in various elections and in various countries as well the misuse of power. This is something that has we've all witnessed it in the past, and we pray not, because Ghanaians will not take it for granted. Look, Ghanaians are ready for it, and I believe that security will be a challenge. Having said that, that's why many of us are here. We're not going to have a situation whereby you have a polling agent who doesn't know what he's doing again. Majority of us have been here, we've been trained. We are going to poll our ballot boxes in these elections ourselves. You're not going to have somebody who doesn't have an idea at all and they just signing pictures. So at the back of that, security is an issue, no question about that. But we will urge all the security agencies, they are Ghanaians like us. They suffer the same as us. When they put the uniform on, there is one thing, the oath that they actually took. They should ensure that that oath is the duty that they're going to exhibit or perform out there. They should not allow themselves to be used by any government. Look, government comes and government goes. I always say this. If you're a security officer, if you are a public servant, you run the country because you have to work under various government. They should be professional. They should look after Ghanaians. They should see the suffering of Ghanaians. They have mothers and fathers who are going through the same thing, and let them execute their jobs professionally to ensure it's not about NDC, MPP, WCQ or ADP. No, it's not about parties. It's about the peace of the country. When they do anything that will push the populace to go crazy, and we lose the peace that we all have, what would they do? Their parents will suffer, their mothers will suffer, their children will suffer, say like any other Ghanaians. So we should go out there and peacefully, let's all do the work that is required of us to save this country.
Thank you. And okay. And I'd like to start from this now, because I have already raised the issue of security, and as a matter, this from the military. In case you're just joining us, the military issued a statement yesterday, signed by Brigadier General E. Agrikwashi, Director General Public Relations, and it's headed, no military personnel will be stationed at any polling station, Ghana Armed Forces. And it said the Ghana Armed Forces wishes to inform the public of its role in ensuring the peaceful conduct of the upcoming 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections as part of our ongoing commitment to maintaining national security and peace during this critical democratic exercise. Ghana Forces wishes to reiterate that no military personnel will be stationed at any polling station. Ghana Forces presence will be limited to standby support, with the primary responsibility for election security remaining with the Ghana Police Service. The military will only be deployed upon request by the Ghana Police Service. The collaborative approach ensures that the elections proceed smoothly and peacefully while maintaining law and order. In the spirit of transparency and to prevent any misunderstanding, we encourage the public to report any military personnel, individual, identifying themselves as Ghana Armed Forces personnel, or any individual wearing military patterned attire or accoutrements found at any polling station to the nearest police station, or call the following Ghana Police Service toll-free number 18555 or 0800 311 311. This will ensure that appropriate action is taken against such individuals or groups in order to maintain security as well as the integrity of the election. Ghana Forces wishes to encourage Ghanaians to exercise their civic rights responsibly, cooperate with security personnel, and refrain from any acts that could disrupt the peace. Ghana Forces reiterates its commitment to safeguarding the stability and sovereignty of the nation whilst protecting the integrity of the election process. E. Agrikwashi, Brigadier General, Director, Public Relations. Like I said, David, in fact, this, how does this sound to you?
Right. So, good morning to our listeners, and good morning to Uncle Fifi here. Yeah. Senna, it's quite reassuring to hear the Ghana Armed Forces release this letter to the general public.
Okay.
Given the public apprehension and the lack of trust with regards to security affairs when it comes to elections, I think it is very important we have such conversations early on. Ayawaso West Wuogon got us seeing the influx of force and brutality at an election that is otherwise supposed or expected to be free and fair and devoid of bloodshed, intimidation, fear, and panic. So this letter coming now is a very good one, and I applaud them for it. However, somewhere last week, or a few days more than a week, we got the IGP make a similar press conference where he said he is assuring and making sure that the elections are going to be manned by police officers, and that the military was going to come in only when they are overwhelmed and when they invite them, right? I tend to have problem with that, and I made mention of that clearly on another channel where I spoke. That yes, within the security apparatus, escalation and inviting allied forces to address an issue is part of the security apparatus, and it's okay. But for the IGP to come out and do all that he did, and then add on by saying we will bring the military when necessary. Okay. I felt it wasn't necessary for him to tell the general public that. For security reasons, and it is not to say the military shouldn't come in. Because as we speak right now, myself, you, and Fifi sitting here, as enlightened as we are, as exposed as we are, we don't know the rubrics of bringing in the military. We don't know at what point the military can be brought in. All right. We don't know the levels of escalation. We have had cases where politicians and people in political parties who has friends in the military can place a call. When a call is placed and the military reacts, posthumous analysis and investigations will tell us it wasn't the IGP office who did that. But by then, we already have mayhem at the polling stations. So when they did or said everything that they had to say and eventually still invited themselves to the party using a backdoor of saying we will come when the police invites us, I would be happy if for public peace and tranquility, we should be able to know under which circumstances would the military be brought in, who is going to trigger the military call. Is it the commander of the district or divisional police office? Who is going to make that? That kind of assurance is what someone like me will be requiring. Because yes, such statements are very common when it comes to elections. And we make them all the time. But the question is, we have also had events and evidence that the military came in. Did the military come in the past because the police was overwhelmed? So I always said this kind of statements actually leave a back door. So we've swung the back door to say, look, we are still able to come in and find a reason. It's like an accountant, excuse me, and all apologies and respect to the accountants. It's like an accountant blowing money and asking them to account. They will definitely find some line items to explain why the money cannot be seen. So if we're saying that yes, the police will, the military will only come in upon invitation, on what conditions? Because we are talking about Mpoho, as far away from Accra. We are talking about Wa, we are talking about Salaga. Very far away communities and areas. When there are issues, how are we going to get the police there? You hear there's some military men went somewhere. Would the IGP be aware? And all of that. That's just my opening statement with regards
So some clarity on the conditions under which.
Yes. I really didn't want to have this at all. They should have just ended it off by saying, we are not part of civil activities. We are not going to be at the polling stations. The Ghana police is in full charge, is in full control, is able to manage. Spare that confidence. Okay, that the Ghana Police Service is equipped, is resourced, is everything, and they are in charge of these events. Whether they are going to escalate and call you later, that is between you and the IGP. That is classified information. It shouldn't come to us in public. However, this statement and that line in the letter is just psyching people that the military could be brought in, and when you see the military in, it is because of ABC. They've told us already. That I think is unacceptable.
I see. So for you personally, even if they will be brought in, it shouldn't be something that should be communicated to the public.
Not at all. Just tell us the police is on top of their job, the police is confident, the police is well resourced, we are able to run this election. Now, let me tell you, if the police, as the in charge of civil activities within the country, is not able to administer or police elections, then what are we talking about?
I see.
You understand? So it was very, very wrong for the IGP to add on that. And because the IGP added that, the soldiers have also got the effrontery to add it in there. So yes, it is true, escalation is allowed, it is part of the security systems over here, but we shouldn't tell that to the general public. Given the heightened mistrust, the heightened public apprehension, and all that we have seen in our elections, I don't want to hear that the military have a backdoor to come into the polls, because what it means is that a certain group, a certain section of the voting public, i.e. parties, NDC, MPP, whoever, who wants to bring the police in, also the military in, can cause agitations deliberately because there's a backdoor. So what if by this letter, somebody's strategy is that create a scene, get your hooligans and thugs over there, get the police overwhelmed, and we will trigger the military for you? What about that? So it's a backdoor. Both the police and the military have opened the back door to the military coming into the elections. As simple as that.
Fifi, what do you think?
I absolutely agree with my David here, my colleague this morning. And look, we've seen Ayawaso, as he referenced to. We've also seen Techiman South. 4 years ago, there have been people killed, including even a young girl who is not of election age. And some of these acts were done by the military. Were they men in uniform under the supervision of a particular section of the military? Nobody knows. Yes, there are some whose name have been mentioned. Recommendations were made, and as we speak, 4 years on, or almost 4 years on, nothing has been done about it. It's always good to have a military as a backup. But as he said, we have a police force professional enough. A police force have the numbers and the capability of providing security for this election. So I think election it just should be given to the police. We don't have to see military in elections at all. Indigenous jurisdictions, the very people that we went to go and copy the template of democracy from, they don't go into election even with police. And I understand we are getting there, but let's limit to the police. The police is good enough. With time, I'm hoping that we will see election that you will not even have one police officer in polling station. It will happen as our democracy and advances. It will advances. But as we speak, let's take the military out. We've seen people taking the power into their hands. Military officers just been on the scenes and they just firing rounds. And this is not what we want in this election. We all want to go out there, cast our votes. The power tells us, or the law tells us, that we should stay 100 meters away from the polling station. Once you stay 100 meters away, you are legally allowed to be there until it's counted. And I've always said that. The last time I was here, I had that conversation with you, that we're not going to vote and go home. We will vote and stay. Why? Because of the element of rigging. But we will not stay at the polling station 100 meters away. That's what the law allows us. So we will do that, the 100 meters away, and we will stay there in our numbers to ensure that our ballot boxes are supervised by all of us and ensure that we have a peaceful election. We are Ghanaians. We want to see peace. We don't want the military in this. So I absolutely agree with David. I think he's hit on the right course this morning.
I see. Very interesting. Anyway, if you just join us, we're having a conversation around the elections. In fact, today's special voting day. Aside Eastern and Western region, we've explained to you why. If you're joining us, the Electoral Commission says they said it's a single ballot paper. defaced ballot paper that was supposed to have been destroyed found its way out of the printing house, and that they think compromises the ballot papers that was printed for the Eastern region. So they recalled the ballot paper from the Eastern region. Remember already there's a problem about a bag that was sent to Nkoko that had the issue of the seals broken. So it means that there was no seal on that bag. The AC says the contents are intact. People have raised questions. Somebody picks the bag, picks only one ballot paper out of it. How would you know whether or not the contents are intact? How were you able to tell? So that is already an issue. So they've recalled all ballot papers from the Eastern region. They said they will burn and destroy it. They will destroy it. And then they will print new ones. New security features, review the serial numbers. And then they will do same for the Western region, because the printing house where this happened printed the Western region and the Eastern region. So they will do same. This time around they will change the printing houses, not the same print house. So that is what is happening Eastern and Western. So they won't have the special voting today. They will have it on Thursday. By that time they will have printed the ballot papers, they will be ready, they'll dispatch it, and then the special voting will happen. The special voting is for those who have duties on the election day, who have been duly registered to vote today ahead of that. Some of my colleague journalists have all done that. I have not. The only I am not doing that because most of my time will be spent sitting here, which means I won't see much. So I would like to spend a few minutes during the voting process just seeing what will happen. So I will go and vote like everybody else. So when I go there, I'll follow the queue and see what is happening, so that I can at least have small observation. Nobody will be telling me everything. So that is why I decided that since I'm voting close, I'm going to vote on election day. So, but many of my colleagues have already registered as special voters, and they'll vote today in the election. So that's happening. Special voting is happening today. I guess the issues are all the same. But should I start with you again? Very interesting. Well, but Fifi, what are you expecting will happen? Because you were just talking about the military man, whether a military or policeman, whatever you are. The issues that affect you are the same as the ones that affect the ordinary Ghanaian.
That's correct.
So what are your expectations?
I have a very simple expectation of any Ghanaian, whether you wear uniform or men and women in uniform, and then the civilians. Look, we are one people. We only have one Ghana. And there's no place, I've said this everywhere I go, like this country called Ghana. It's such a beautiful country. I've said it in the past that we're chipping this country away, but we shouldn't. We should come back as we're doing. You've seen so many, as we said, so many of the Westerners coming back, or Ghanaian diasporans coming back. Why? Because we want to salvage what is left.
What is left?
Yes, we want to salvage it. What is left? What is left? We know our economy is gone. We know our currency is in junk status as we speak. We know our ministries have been politically tempered with. We know that as we speak, the EC is in bed, and it's something we look. It's an open secret. The EC is in bed with the NPP. These are institutions that we don't want them to be. For us to have a very strong democracy, we want this institution to be independent. We want to see our finance minister go to parliament and deliver a budget statement and come back and not see public servants on the street hailing and praising him and singing church songs. These things, it doesn't sit right in democracy. Why? Because a public servant, the same public servant, will serve under a different government. But let's do what is deserved of us, or as public servants and as Ghanaians. For these are the main reasons why I've asked every security, or I urge, Apostle Paul will say, I beseech every single military officer or a police officer Or I saw a video of a military officer warning Ghanaians, I will come and beat you when I come. And then when there is a breakdown of law, I have a gun, and I'm stronger than you, I'll beat you and take your food. That is not the Ghana we're looking for. We're looking for a Ghana where it doesn't matter what uniform you wear, what position you are, we sit side by side as brothers, as neighbors, as citizens, and then work this country together. You ask, what can we salvage? Not much left, but what is left? The NDC and JDM have said, if Ghanaians give them the mandate, they will ensure that the right policies are done. We will ensure that we actually leverage what is on those policies to ensure we get Ghana back working again. We get Ghana back on track. As we speak, we all know that we didn't stop servicing our debt. How can we run a country that you do not actually have so much, but you rely so much on the capital market, on foreign money, and you stop servicing your debt? These are all some of the bad things this government, NPP government, have done a disservice to this country, and we want to ensure we reverse it. So we are here to help and reverse it. So all Ghanaians, let's do this together. Be part of the history. Police officers or men and women in uniform, please, as Sana said, and I said as well, all of us, when you go to the petrol station or the garage, they don't ask you what party you belong to. They don't ask you whether you're a man or a woman in uniform or you're a civilian for you to have a different price. We're all going to pay the same thing. And it's for that reason, all of us have to act together, be professional enough. Let's do our job professionally. If a party A wins, they wins peacefully. If party B wins, they wins peacefully. That is all I'll say this morning to my military men and women, and then the entire forces.
I'll come back to salvage what is left. I'll come back to that. But David, what are expectations this morning?
This morning, I think my expectations are quite simple, and that is for those of us who live in the country, our experiences are definitely going to be different from those in the diaspora. Now, if those in the diaspora feel that a lot is not going on well in this country, and they can leave their jobs, their families, their livelihoods in the diaspora, buy their own air tickets, fly in to come and help us vote first and police the elections, it just tells you how important the assignments on our hands are thus far. And it also speaks to the fact that none of us within the country should take this election for granted. So if the security forces, the journalists, and all the critical stuff, let me put it, all the critical stuff with regards to elections are voting today, my expectation is for them to make the votes reflect our experiences.
Okay.
It is not for me to pontificate over people's experiences over the past 8 years. But I think this government has been the worst over the past, since the kicking of the Fourth Republic. And as I said, I'm not pontificating, but we should vote in a way and manner that reflects what we have experienced and what it meant when our forefathers advocated for democracy. So the Kwesi Prats, the Kweku Bakons, and all the people in the 80s who advocated for the transition to democracy, they did that in truth and in spirit, that the people in whom the power resides should have what it takes to dictate how the country goes, rather than a single armed man, which is why we transitioned from military regime to dictatorship, to democracy. Yeah. Today, the people should vote, and vote in a way and manner that reflects where we want to take the country going forward. So to my military officers, to the police, to all the agencies and individuals that have been mandated or certified to vote today, please vote with the mind and heart that we are causing the country to go a certain direction, and your vote must reflect that direction. As simple as that.
Great. Well, now, before I come to the matter of the Electoral Commission properly, Fifi, you are in this, and I see a certain agency when it comes to those of you in the diaspora. I've seen, I think it was last week, I had this studio full of people from the UK. One lady from France, one lady from Germany joined them, but the whole studio was full from UK NDC. That sense of urgency, when you have conversations with people in Ghana, when you come to Ghana around the elections, do you see that at all? Do you see that Ghanaians feel the same way you feel about the elections, that this is crucial, this is important, we need to do something to urgently salvage this country? Do you get that feeling when you land in Ghana and start to move around?
You do. You do, Sana. You do. Whether is the same urgency is a different question, or maybe in a different context.
Okay.
But you do. People, you'll be wearing the John Mama shirt, and people straight away approach you and come to you and say to you, JDM number one. And sometimes I ask, why number one? I just want to find out their reason, or is it because of election fever? That is why everybody is on the same bandwagon. But no, they tend to give you explanations. So that sense of urgency is that maybe we can contextualize it better, because we've lived in the West. We've seen how democracy and governance work, and we've seen how elections should work. We've seen how politics is being done, and we've seen how governance is being done. These are two different things. And when we come to Ghana, or when we look across Ghana, we don't see the same. It worries us. And because many of us in the diaspora, I'll always say, look, even if somebody is just a cleaner in the diaspora, sometimes the training they have to go through as a cleaner and get a refresher courses is more than an office person over here. So they're very open-minded. They very exposed to a lot of good things that they can bring on the table to help this country. And I think that with regards to the agency, I think many of us over there, we've come to a point that we think we are the ones who can shape this country. We can't leave Ghana for the Ghanaians alone. What I mean by Ghanaians alone means the indigenous Ghanaians residing in Ghana alone. It doesn't matter where you are. You need to be part of the local Ghanaian to change. Because look, apart from changing government from the political box, we need that mindset change as well. We need a mindset change. The customer service is bad. When it comes to attitude towards some of our ministries and how it's run is bad. Even the mindset of some of the people elected into position or given to run positions is bad. And it will take many of us to come, because we are looking at things from different perspectives. And then that's why it's becoming, or let me use this word, the bird's eye view for this country. So this government have to, or the NDC government, or any government, have to see the diaspora as a source of, or what I will call a bank full of capabilities for this country that they can always tap into to come and help this country. It hasn't really happened. But the John Mahama has said that they're going to have a proper diaspora office, a department that will be part working with the government, bringing ideas along. And look, you'll be surprised to know that before our manifesto was even put together, we had Zoom meetings with people like Fifi talking about manifesto and things. So some of these ideas, we were consulted. You'll be surprised. And that is one thing the NDC, or the tangent the NDC is moving, which is very positive. Very, very positive. Not everything that we can pick from there is workable here because of how their democracies have grown. But there are some that we can tweak and change them and then start them, and it will work perfectly. It will work perfectly for us. So the urgency is there over here as well. Yes, it is there. Thank you.
Very interesting. And David, you live. The two of us live here.
Yes, so we are local chicken and he is.
I'm becoming very local as well. I keep coming and going.
Nice one there.
But do you agree with him? Does the Ghanaian feel about this election as you would expect?
I think so. Yeah, I think so because I think he may feel the way he's feeling because if I'm not mistaken, when he comes around, he does like within a month and then he goes back again. Okay. But if you go to if you stay some time and then you join the church, you go to the communities, everyday conversations in the convenience shops, in the markets and all of that, you can see a lot of people are really geared towards this election. I quite remember about so this is the last week, right? Yeah. About 2 weeks ago, so it was about 3 weeks towards the election, someone said he had found his voter ID card and he was polishing it down. Amazing. And that the next thing is for him to polish his thumb. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so people are quite excited and people are ready, waiting for it. The thing is, Ghanaians are quite laid back when it comes to some of these things. Okay. So minds have been made, decisions have been arrived at, and people are waiting patiently for the 7th of December. I can tell you for free that both parties have, give or take, a minimum of 40% followership, ardent followership that they have. So if you find people who may not be enthused, there may be people who may be followers of the government and may be disappointed, so they are not willing to go to the polls to vote for the NDC, and neither are they going to vote to endorse the MPP, whatever they've done. So you speak to such people and you find words like, I'm not sure, this country, they're all the same. Anytime you hear things like that, you realize that the person is most likely, most often than not, a sympathizer of the government. They're disappointed and they can't cross their feet, to the other side. However, when you come to the NDC's 40% and 44 up to 44% of the NDC, they are fully energized. Then you take about 5 to 8% floating voters in between there, fully energized. Okay, so I think the momentum is there, the local reverberations is there, and it is reaching far. So I think we will see a very good turnout this time around, and that is the reason why, for me and to me, security assurances that people should not be afraid and to go to their polling stations to go and vote is very important. Did you also take note that most of the military's atrocities that we have seen so far didn't happen at the polling stations?
No, collation centers.
They said they happen at the collation centers. So why did the military release a letter, and in the letter they are giving us assurances that they will not be at the police stations? We never found them at the police stations anyway. Anytime we saw the military violating our civic rights, it was at the collation centers. They should release a letter and give us the same assurances that the collation centers will be free of their presence. Now, so with all of this, once the police, once the military and all the security forces are not going to be abusive on the day, trust me, we are heading towards an election that is going to be historic, that is going to have one of the largest turnouts thus far, because the dissatisfaction, the disappointment in this country, in this government, is just way too much. And I can tell you, the middle class that shot this government into power in 2016, they are all very
but does that middle class even exist anymore? Because you see, so much
and that is why
the middle class that they inherited from John Mahama has been
impoverished.
Yes, in fact, most of them are down to they've been brought back down to the poverty below. Some of them are even below the poverty line. There are people who move from doing well to even struggling to get 1 meal a day,
and that is a narcotic to get us to the polls. So that experience alone is a drag, okay? That is supposed to push you to the post to say, look here, I was like this, you've made me worse off, and therefore I am going in this direction. So I expect, actually, without any security infractions, I expect a very high voter turnout this time around.
Fifi, you must be, in fact, in terms of voter turnout, you must be excited about something as a sympathizer of the party, because I was watching a video in which the NPP and NDC were going for health, this walk. I don't know whether to call it, they don't call it health walk, but it's a walk. Like, and it got to a point where even the NPP realized that the crowd that the NDC was pulling, they decided to just give way and allow the guys to pass before they continue. You're seeing massive numbers. In fact, we're shocked at what happened at Ablekuma Central. We're still trying to understand where the people came from. Some people say people from the Udome Cemetery joined them. There were all kinds of, and you saw the same with Crow, and all some of this. You cannot say that they are moving from constituencies, because some of the health works were being done simultaneously. What's happening in Ablekuma Central is happening in Ablekuma South. It's been done in Odododio, and the numbers are huge. Even in the center of Kumasi yesterday, one of the places where people are usually reluctant to show their colors when they are NDC, people gladly came out in their numbers and were part of this work through Kumasi. You must be excited about the energy that your base is feeling.
I'm super excited. Remember about 3 months ago, I think summer, when I was here, we did the same health work in New York in South, and then we had a conversation about it. And I told you something that, look, I can see something different. I can see a change. The grounds looks good, and we spoke briefly about that, and it hasn't changed. Actually, if there is anything, if you could remember, you did mention that. Would there not be a change of mind as we get in closer? And I said to you, if there will be any change, it will rather be a shift from the NPP to the NDC. And that is the very shift that we are witnessing as of last 2 weeks or last month into the last week of the election. The shift has just been amazing. Now people, even with NPP colors, sometimes they just join the NPP campaign. But what we want to do is, we don't want to be complacent. We should be able to convert what we see on the ground on our campaign trail into vote. If we don't do that, then we are failed. That is why I urge Ghanaians, I urge everybody who has been out there. The election is not just being out there, being part of the campaign. Yes, it's important you play that part as well. But to see it through to the end, then you also have to be at the polling station to cast that vote. So please, let's every single one of us, let's queue early, let's go out there, take it as a public holiday. Let's ensure that the reflection of everything that we just talking about on various health work, we can also see it on the day of polling. Let that numbers reflect it. Let's ensure the NPP is sustained. Let's give them the thumbs down that they've never seen as an NPP party before. And I believe Ghanaians will do it. Why? Because all Ghanaians, as we said earlier, are going through the same experience. The pain, the poverty, everything that is being inflicted upon them. The middle class wiped away with inflation that they went through. Some of them who have made millions and billions in this country at a point on the verge of their death could not even have access to money to pay their overheads. Example is the pharmaceutical giant, the gentleman who died recently. These are sad stories. And if these people are being treated like this by a government, ask yourself how much you and I. So let's make sure we reflect this. No NDC person should say the grounds looks good, be complacent, or with just few days to go, because these people always have something under their sleeves, and we're not going to sit down for that to happen. So for that reason, we will ensure that everything we are experiencing is reflected on Saturday. So let's get ourselves ready and go out there on Saturday and vote in our numbers. Thank you.
Well, thank you. David, I'm about to do some message. Somebody says, this Oscar, now I realize that the man is gone. I keep calling him Oscar Mine. I don't know whether... you've never heard that surname before, okay. David has never heard your surname. David is gone. But he says I say a happy birthday to his daughter, Belinda Na Adoko Mine. I hope I got that right. He is praying for good health and happiness and blessings for you. So Belinda, a happy birthday to you, coming from your father to you. We have to take a break. When we'll come back, we'll take you to the central region where Kofi Emmanuel, aside following the campaign trio of Professor Nana Pokwajiman, is also monitoring what is happening in the special voting. So we'll take a quick report from him, and I'll come in studio, and then maybe we'll conclude with what to expect of the Electoral Commission in the wake of ballot papers recall, among others. What should we expect from the Electoral Commission to assure all of us that the polls will be credible?
I'm the first vice president to collect a
our strength in unity. Victory! Victory! It's our na entro na die omomudi adintro ese your mama turn to my pot into na your mama boy dey yen turn to my pot bia gapo ha shareholder water my pot dum menum ka say sika gapo ha anya every new tamapot no every $200 million omo share ayi omo tiama omo na muni momianka no kre MPP ne asantima endi ni ye kura asantima ena ma omo votes echen bebia e wo Ghana ha enso project bia omo se ombeye project ni na omo ye ebia afia omo se abato eba no enfie wotwe mo anyehwe afia omo se abato eba no afia na mo apia contractor for se omo mbeye enchire se mo ye ejuma ni na ye 419 sa enjuma ni nyina sa interchanges eni akwanya omo ayese omo hyase no me na make kiremo NDC ne beba be so mu ewie sa enjuma ni nyina enya Asante man kwa na omo yesa 419 no Asante region ka ho a we ye 16th region amaba machin 15 regions na aka nyina bebia sa ekwanya omaja enfie wotwe ene wokwa ye piempia contractors eguso say
Because if you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with Fifi Mparey, who is Deputy Communications Officer, NDC UK Ireland Chapter, the returning Fifi Mparey. There are many of them, many people from, especially the NDC UK Ireland Chapter, in town to be part of the elections. Before we continue, make this Christmas and New Year unforgettable with Furniture City. Transform your spaces with bespoke furniture from Furniture City and enjoy mouth-watering discounts 20% to 50% off on our expertly crafted pieces. From offices to homes, gardens to poolsides to kitchens to living rooms and even church auditoriums, we have the perfect furniture to make your festive season extraordinary. Just make sure to visit the Spinters branch of Furniture City or call the Spinters branch on this number 0540 314948 or the Atama outlet on 0257 961451. Hurry! Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Furniture City, simply unforgettable. And of course, don't forget Hisense. Aside the usual offering of televisions, refrigerators, chest freezers, and air conditioners, they also have laser television, gas cookers, washing machines, smartphones, sound system, water dispenser, microwave, blender, rice cookers, kettles, iron, air fryer, just to name a few. So everything you need when it comes to electronics under one shop. As one of the best electronic companies in Ghana, Hisense stands by its products and offers up to 5 years manufacturer defect warranty with Hisense showrooms across Ghana. Visit any of our showrooms in Accra, also in Tema, Kumasi, Takrady, Takwa, Mankasim, Obuasi, Sunyani, Techiman, Tamale, Hohwe, Koforidwa to purchase any Hisense products at the best price on the market. Hisense, best for quality, best for durability, best for energy efficiency, best for affordability, best for style, and best for technology. Call them on 0302 550000. Visit our website hisense.com.gh. Don't also forget to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Hisense has everyday prices for everyday people. Well, we are making efforts to speak to Kofi Emmanuel, who is in the Central Region with Professor Nana Jinopoko Ajima. We'll speak to him shortly on the elections and what is happening there. Today's special voting. Like I was saying, David and Fifi are still in studio with me. First, on the matter of the elections, of course, this morning we're just discussing the issue of the ballot papers. It's not the first one. They said they had shortfalls in the Volta region, some constituency. Then they started adding constituencies from other regions. So far, impressed with the EC. Fifi, let me start with you. I'll come to David.
I've never been impressed with the EC, the Ghanaian EC. Let me be specific. Never been impressed under the EC chairperson Jemensa and then the deputy bossman Asari. And my reasons are very crystal clear. The other people might say, look, they are, but personally I'm not, because I've always said, in the serious jurisdiction, the very people that we go picked up the whole idea of democracy from, the way their EC run, we don't even know who is the EC chairperson in the serious jurisdiction. We go and vote. We only go into the booth. You go there, you pick up your paper. There's a pencil. You pick up your pencil and you put a cross in and you tie it up, and then that's it. You fold it and put it in the box. Okay. Nobody is going to look for a rubber to even rub that pencil and then go and mark it somewhere else. That is how good elections are. In the pencil.
Pencil, yeah. What we need is eraser. Seriously,
pencil. You go into the booth, you pick up your paper, the pencils are there, you pick up your pencil and then you cross it, and then you fold your paper, you put in the ballot box, and off you go. Not even a single soul of police officer, not EC officials. There are only local councils officials who ensure that the boxes are security.
I'll come back to you shortly, because this one is quite interesting. The last time I spoke to Conrad, he was saying that they vote late into the night. In Ghana, if you try that, you won't understand anything. Kofi.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, Kofi?
I'm good.
Kofi Mano is joining us. Kofi, where are you this morning?
I am in Cape Coast, to be precise, we are the Cape Coast North constituency, the regional police command in the central region. That's where I am now.
The regional police command. Is that where the special voting is taking place?
Sure, it is one. It's one of the voting centers in the central region here, where policemen, journalists, and workers of the electoral commission are taking part in special voting. So it is one of the voting centers.
Considering this, that Cape Coast, the regional police command, I'm expecting a lot of discipline. How is it going?
Okay, so thank you so much, Senna. I'm here at like I said, the regional police command in the central region, and I'm at the polling center where a lot of people are taking part in today's special voting exercise. Here, the situation is calm. You can see a few. I can see a few of the policemen, workers of the electoral commission, and some few journalists in queue, waiting to cast their ballots. And there is no disturbances here. Everything is calm at this particular station. You should expect that the situation should be calm, because this is the headquarters of the police in the central region. So there are lots of men in uniform here, and you do not expect people to come here and foment trouble. So at the moment, everything is calm here. Voting started at 7 as it was expected, and as I speak, voting is ongoing, and the running mate of Mahama is still expected to visit this particular polling station in a few hours to come, so that she can also be here and observe proceedings as it is happening here. But at the moment, she has not started that engagement, and so later in the day she'll be visiting this particular police station and a few others to also monitor the proceedings.
And we'll come to what she's been saying to those who are voting today. But do you have an idea of the numbers at that particular police station?
Sure, Sana. So when it comes to the Cape Coast North constituency, they are expecting a total of 595 people to take part in today's special voting exercise. And it is one of the few polling stations that people will be voting today. And I can give you breakdown of the total number of people who are expected to vote in all the 23 polling stations in the central region, here in the central region, like I said. So when you go to the KE, they are expecting 700 people to cast their votes today. They are expecting 530 people to also be taking part in the vote today. Cape Coast, where I am today, like I said, they are expecting 595 people to vote. When you go to Abu Asedu, Kwamankese, they are expecting 296 people to vote. Infanteman, 501 people to vote. Ekufi, 118 people, 118 people are expected to also cast their ballots today. When you go to Ejumako, Enyan, SM, 752 people are expected to vote. Gomwa West, 194 people. Gomwa Central, 543 people. Gomwa East, 422 people. When you go to Efutu, which has the largest people expected to cast their ballot today, they have 2,271. That is the constituency of the leader of the MPP caucus in Parliament. They are expecting 2,271 people to take part in the special voting today. When you go to Ewutu Senya West, 293 people are expected to also take part in the voting today. And then when you go to Kaswa, Ewutu Senya East, they are expecting 1,298 people. 1,298 people to also take part in the special voting today. Agona West, 228 people are expecting to vote today. Agona East, 119 people are also expecting to vote today. Esukuma Odobin Brakwa, they are expecting 157 people to take part in the voting exercise today. Asin Central, 914 people. Asin North, 284 people. Asin South, 295 people. Trifo Etimokwa, 338 people are expecting to vote. Then when you go to Hema Lower Bench, they are expecting 437 people to also take part in the special voting exercise today. And then you have the Upper Dentra East, 865 people. Upper Dentra West, they are expecting 360 people, 360 people to also take part in the special voting today. So in total, when it comes to the central region, the Electoral Commission is expecting 12,588 people. 12,588 people to take part in the special voting exercise today. Like I said, the constituency with the highest number of people expecting to vote today is Efutu Winneba, which has a total of 2,271 people. And the lowest is Ekufi with 118 people are expecting to cast their ballots today. So that is statistics for the special voting in the central region today.
And so far, like you said, it's going smoothly. Professor Nana Pokwajiman has been sharing some message. What has she been saying to the journalists and also the men in uniforms who are voting today?
So, to the journalists, she called on them that they should be fair, they should be balanced in their reportage. She doesn't expect that the special voting will be in the news for the wrong reasons. She wants journalists to live up to their expectation and be fair in their reportage. And she also called on them to also be truthful. And one most important thing that she told journalists was that under the John Mahama administration, journalists could go about to do their work without fear or favor. Nobody was harassing any journalist when John Mahama was in power. But she makes the argument the same will be said to be, according to her, she claims that under the regime of President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Alhaji Bawumia, journalists are being harassed. Journalists are being asked to flee their country to other countries for fear of their lives. And she made case and call on journalists that journalists should happiness in the country for the past years and vote accordingly for the National Democratic Congress to come back to power so that the press freedom that we seem to be losing to be restored for journalists to also go about and do our duties free out of fear of somebody intimidating you. So, she asked them and whatever decision that they will be taking, I expect them to be announcing double figures. They should live up mandate as is signed in their constitution, and that is what we should towards, and to ensure that this election will be free and fair. And to men and women in uniform, she also expects them that they should be fair in conduct of their duties. She doesn't expect men and women in uniform to cause chaos in elections. So, Senator, basically, those are her words that she gave to people who are participating in the special voting today. She expects everything to go on smoothly.
Okay.
She expects men and women in uniform, journalists, workers of the Electoral Commission to be fair and balanced, truthful, and to be objective in everything that they will be doing today.
Okay, so we'll be giving updates on Kofi. Thank you very much. Kofi Mano is in the Cape Coast North, specifically at the Regional Police Command where he is stationed. We have to wrap up so that our chairman can come in. It's a long week for us anyway, because this is the week of the election. Saturday is the election, so there's so much to do. There's so much to go through. And of course, stay with us here at Radio Gold. We'll be going through some of the major issues, some of the major places to watch out for, among others, for you. In fact, we have to wrap up, but I think we have about 2 minutes to do that. I was coming to explore this UK matter, but you were talking about the lack of confidence in the Electoral Commission.
Yes, we were. Personally, I don't have confidence in the Electoral Commission, and particularly the Jemensa Bosman Asari Electoral Commission.
Okay.
They haven't done a great job. We all know that 4 years ago, SAR was disenfranchised. Sankrofi and Lolobi, and these are some of the things. And we know that going into this election is not a level playing field. They came out indelible ink. They wanted to scrap it, which as we speak in Ghana, we cannot go with a pencil. We're talking about the pencil case as well over here, because somebody wants you all the time make sure that you are disadvantaged when it comes to general elections, and then we have to make a lot of noise to try and get this back. We've had issues with scrapping of some of their IT equipment into unqualified scrap companies, which is not great, because we all know how computer systems work. It doesn't matter what you take out; those hard disks still has information on it. It wasn't properly scrapped, and then we had some of the equipment stolen, which they kept quiet about it. They claimed stolen. They kept quiet about it. He had to take the NDC to do the findings and push all the questions for them to come out. So there have been so many. We've seen the serial number of the voting registration papers or voting papers that went to voter region, which was not the right one. And then we've also had the shortage of the polling or the voters registration card that will go into voter region. Again, not enough. These are serious questions. This is the Electoral Commission, which is fully resourced. Every money they go to Parliament and ask is given to them. And we don't know why they still have so many discrepancies. And it's uncalled for. It's not allowed in this very election, as serious as it is. And it would take the Electoral Commission also to push the country over the edge. So they have to do the right thing. Let them do the decent thing. They should not be allowed themselves to be used by any political party. They are they've been given a serious mandate. The Constitution actually protects them, and that they have to ensure that the mandate that is given, they act accordingly. Okay. So personally, as I said, I don't trust them, but we still ask them and we beseech them to do the right thing. Thank you.
Great. Fifi is also in town for a period until after the elections. David would be okay. He's committed to being here anytime we say he should be here. You agree?
Yes, I do. I do.
Great.
This is national service.
Good.
Yeah,
Great.
As if to have my last bite on the EC. You see, Senna, it's very hard to trust the EC. However hard you try to be balanced, however hard you try to be objective, however hard you try to give them the benefit of the doubt, they always come undone. All right, and it's unfortunately so, because I took particular interest in a few things that were going on at the EC, but because of time, I will just keep it simple.
We'll have the opportunity
for the first time. See the way we are throwing out the names of people and companies that print ballot papers. I thought all of these things are supposed to be under the carpet kind of information. Okay, we're throwing it out there like chips here and there. But let me shelve that. What is of bigger concern to me is education. Have you noticed how education towards this election has been so poor?
Voter education
has been so poor. As we speak, the late Madam Ekweadonko is still on the ballot paper. What education have been done? Have you seen any ad anywhere, any education that tells people, even though you see that image, do not vote because she's passed? We don't have that. Okay, there is disinformation in Kumasi. The gentleman who went to say all those things that he had to say, the EC promised us that they were going to do a re-education to make sure that things were seen in the right light and all of that. We didn't get that. The leakages, like a defaced, she kept emphasizing it's a defaced single. That is what you found. What about what you didn't see? Investigations, punitive actions, measures, all of that, we haven't seen anything like that. So no education. If you watch the ads, you will see that MPP and the NDC are the ones telling voters, if you pick it, vote like this, fold it like this, fold it this way. The EC, nothing like that. The NCCE, that is supposed to help us with this, is telling us that they've not been resourced. So for me, to keep it simple and to summarize, it's very, very hard to work with the EC. The EC of Jane Mensah and Bosman Asare have been very, very poor. I don't want to go further. I think I'll have the right opportunity and the platform to address these issues. Yeah.
Thank you. Fifi, thank you. Thank you for making time to pass by.
Great.
There's Ajechefio Benloli Tete. There's Ni Adama Aye Abdurrahman Fifi Asante Mparey. Okay. And then I see a chow. There's Elizabeth Fojo. You have joined our sharers on Facebook. A big thank you to you. Those who have been sharing our feed on Facebook. And of course, a big thank you to Alaska B, who's in charge of Facebook Live show. It's produced by Rick Boatin. The other team members, Nancy Amaleosi Kekeli Obimpe,